The country, except for KwaZulu-Natal, were expected to return to work this morning to prepare for the reopening of schools. South Africa will move to level 3 on the 1st of June. Some teachers say protective equipment delivered to schools are not enough. Well, let's chat now to my colleague Matlako Kumane, who's in studio with me. We're together, but we're separated. Thanks very much, Matlako, for joining us. So, obviously, teachers are still not happy. What is it exactly that they say they want, and what kind of feedback have you had in terms of the number of teachers that have turned up for work today?
Yes, Nompu, I think in terms of the numbers, we will definitely be in touch with the department later on today to give us, to collate the numbers and actually give us a breakdown of who pitched and who didn't pitch. But you'll obviously know that teacher unions, I think we've said this at length, teacher unions, especially SATU, telling their members just do not bother coming to school, and others, I think, giving for example, in Gauteng, I know SATU in Gauteng had said that teachers, I think, should start coming in from Wednesday. But we were also earlier on with the MEC for Education in Gauteng, just to give us an overview of what is it that is happening in that province, telling us, what are the challenges that they faced in terms of the delivery of PPEs. But definitely teachers were meant to arrive at school today. You remember Minister Angie Motshekga having said that the 25th would start to mark that countdown for students to return, or grade 12s and grade 7s to return on the 1st of June, which is next week, Monday. So it's definitely a countdown. They have 5 days to get everything in order. We know that KwaZulu-Natal saying that educators to arrive on Thursday, and teachers in other provinces, saying that they feel that, these equipments have not arrived. But when we spoke to another teacher union, the South Afrikaanse Onderwyseres Unie, they said that what they had decided to take a more an approach that says to teachers, that a more conservative approach that says to teachers that, if you go to school, go to report for duty, should you arrive there and find that those PPEs have not been delivered, you simply relay via the school principal a message to, the district officers to say that while you are willing to work, you cannot work under those circumstances, because these have now become compulsory to have your face masks and whatever method in terms of sanitizing and gloves. Then they should do this every day up until the point where these equipments are delivered.
So, what you're saying about the latter union kind of makes sense. Go to work and see how the land lies. Is there PPE there or not? Rather than the SATU position, which is basically saying don't turn up for work at all. Do we know the reasons why they're advising their members not to turn up to work at all? And perhaps you can also elaborate further on what the Gauteng MEC had to say.
Yes, most definitely. I think
caught in between the people who believe we've given a contract to Bidvest, and we've explained that Bidvest is donating their services. They've not won a contract or won a tender. But regardless of that explanation, people want to disrupt because they say they don't want Bidvest in the townships, and that's and majority of them are business forums who are demanding that we must give them 30% of the value of the contract so that they can do this work on our own. The areas that are hard hit, it's Tshwane South and Tshwane West. Those are the areas that are hard hit. For example, in Tshwane West, we're at 61%. Of the 103 schools, that were supposed to receive PPEs, 65 didn't receive. If I've got my figures right, I'll share it with Steve. But we are at 61%. That's the lowest. But if you check the entire Eguru lane, it's sorted out. You go to Johannesburg North, it's sorted out. So those two Tshwane areas, that's where we have a problem. But we have already reported that to the police. So the police are escorting us today to go and deliver.
Yes, and as you've just heard MEC Lesufi saying there, Nompu, that they were having those two challenges in those Tshwane districts, saying that, they are at the mercy of business forums, that was he had said. But I think he also threw it forward and he said that by Friday in Gauteng, we expect all systems, it should be all systems go to, for learners to be able to arrive on Monday morning, your grade 12s and your grade 7s. But I think also I just have to mention this, Nompu, we also asked and posed the question to him, what happens to children that are reliant on aftercare? As you'd understand, some parents have obviously returned to work, saying that they would have to go into negotiations with schools, but parents will have to make that alternative arrangement. But I think very important, and these are questions that linger on in terms of parents and what is it that must happen? What are the implications of this decision that has been made? Why am I asking about aftercare? Minister Angie Mchekga in her last address saying that after school children need to go back. But he had also mentioned that they are looking at how are they going to add on the other grades. Will they be doing a platoon system where others will come at a specific time and then leave at a specific time? Will we be having weeks dividing the learners into groups in areas where we know that overcrowding poses a very huge challenge? We also spoke about textbooks. He assured us that in Gauteng that there were students in Gauteng do not share textbooks, so that should not be a problem. There are many plans that they have in place, but I think most importantly it is for us to see that will these plans materialize? Will learners be able to go to school and educators also be satisfied with the safety measures that have been put into place by MECs and the Department of Basic Education as the employer?
All right, Mahloko, we're going to leave it there. More to talk about, but not enough time. But we know that you'll be keeping a track on the developments in the education space for us, my colleague there, Mahloko Kumane. We say goodbye to our SABC3 viewers. And of course, we do continue to broadcast the news here on the SABC News channel. Do stay